Hey guys, Rick here. You're listening to our very first Black Lives Spotlight, where we're going to be learning about Jack Johnson, the first African American boxing world champion. Jack Johnson was the son of former slaves and a native Texan. At first, he could only fight other black men in the boxing ring, but after becoming the African American champion, he followed and antagonized top white boxers into accepting his challenges. When they fought him, they lost, and by 1908, he was the heavyweight champion of the world with no legitimate competition in sight. Johnson's rampant success led to racial tensions and ultimately violence. White journalists wrote newspaper articles calling for a great white hope to come defeat Johnson and take his title. Black people who celebrated and rooted for Johnson were attacked brutally. One African American man riding a streetcar in Houston excitedly announced after one of Johnson's fights that Johnson had won, and then was killed by a white man who slit his throat. Johnson did not see himself as a black icon or hero and didn't intend to cause racial tensions, but he was a successful black man in the era of Jim Crow who liked to date and marry white women. Race problems found him like heat-seeking missiles. These problems reached their peak for Johnson when he was arrested for traveling with his white girlfriend, which authorities claimed was immoral and a violation of an anti-prostitution law called the Mann Act. Jack Johnson fled the country to avoid prosecution, spent a few years in Europe, and finally returned to America in 1920. He had lost his title by that time and spent a year in prison for his conviction. Jack Johnson died in 1946. He visited a restaurant in North Carolina, and after learning that they would not serve black people, he got in his car and drove off in a rage, which led to him crashing his car. He was taken to the nearest hospital that would provide health care to black patients, a hospital that was more than 25 miles away from where he crashed his car. In May of 2018, President Trump gave Jack Johnson an extremely rare posthumous presidential pardon, calling him quote-unquote pretty much unbeatable and commenting that he was quote-unquote treated very rough.